Good morning. My name is Matt McIntyre. I'm the chair of the Boone County School Board. We are here at the Ignite Institute this morning to honor and recognize Dr. Poe for his many years of service to Boone County Schools, to its students, its staff, and to our community. I would like to welcome my board colleagues, Dr. Maria Brown, our vice chair, Ms. Karen Bird, Mr. Troy Fryman, and Julie Pyle is out of town this weekend and can't be here today. Also with us, we have Mr. Jerry Dusing, our board attorney for Boone County Schools. We have Mr. Jim Claxton, the president of the Boone County Education Foundation. We have Mr. Eric McCarter, our deputy superintendent and chief operating officer at Boone County Schools. We have Ms. Jessica Poe and Mrs. Catherine Babb, who are daughters of Dr. Poe and Mrs. Poe, and they will be saying a few words here later. And finally, of course, we want to welcome Dr. Poe and his wife here today. We do have a special dedication this morning that we're going to do in a few minutes, but before that, we have a few folks that want to share some words for Dr. Poe here on this special occasion. So at this time, I would like to invite Karen Bird to the podium to share a few words.
Thank you, Matt. My purpose here this morning will be twofold. When we were talking about doing the special celebration to recognize Dr. Poe and his retirement and his many years of service, I was asked, since I've been around the longest, who might have been someone that would have impacted Dr. Poe. And as I was thinking back, because I could list countless numbers that I know, but one name stuck out to me, mainly because she was always one of my heroes in the district, an amazing lady, and that is Mrs. Linda Viox, who was the principal at Connor Middle School for many years. And as Randy will attest, a lot of amazing future leaders came out of Connor Middle School and are still there in the current principal of Mr. Jamie Brewer under Mrs. Viox's tutelage. She, as I said, was an incredible leader, an incredible motivator, and someone who's always held my deepest admiration. So I reached out to Linda and told her what we were doing. I invited her to be here in person if she could, but she said, knowing we were limited, that she would give up her seat to someone else, and she sent me her thoughts, reflecting back on Dr. Poe. And she says, when hearing of your retirement, I reminisce of your startup in administration many years ago, which is when I got to know you and your dedication to strong leadership and improving student learning. You were impressive enough in your interview for middle school assistant principal many, many years ago that after meeting with a long list of candidates, we, the committee, came back readily to choose you to fulfill the position. I like to think that was the beginning of great things to come for you and Boone County Schools. Your role as assistant principal developed beautifully, but of course, when you're good, we all knew it would lead to new heights in your career. So after a couple of years at Connor Middle, you moved on as principal at R.A. Jones, which is another successful story for someone else to tell. That would be me. Each rung of the ladder you climbed in Boone County Schools was a success for everyone around you. Reaching the top job was what you earned and deserved and made the rest of us in the schools proud and better leaders and educators. I remember so many ideas and programs you created and developed in the middle grades that benefited the students who needed attention and assistance. You were there for them. You showed the same empathy and compassion for the staff you worked with. I remember well when we lost a teacher to illness at Connor, you and I decided to drive to the wake held in the far reaches of eastern Kentucky. I don't think either of us realized the distance we had to travel with no Google or Maps app. So we took off after school, and best I remember, after attending the service, we arrived back to Boone County at a very late hour. but ready to be back to school early the next morning. But that is who you are. There to reach out to those in need, those students who could have fallen through the cracks, and always striving to make the Boone County school system the one to be admired and replicated. The time has come to slow down and smell the roses. Try to relax and enjoy a slower pace. Although knowing you, immerse yourself into everything you do, I would say you will just start over, maybe in a different direction, and continue to impact people's lives in a positive way. Good luck to you in your second story. Linda V. Ox. Linda shared a lot of the things that I would share personally. From the very first time that I met Dr. Poe as the principal at R.A. Jones Middle School, who came into that building and lit a fire, not only brought the fire not only from himself, but lit that flame of passion for education and helping those students, as Linda referenced, that might fall through the cracks. Because while we say all means all in Boone County today, Dr. Poe started that mission from the first day that I met him as principal at R.A. Jones Middle School, because all did mean all. And it wasn't just all students, it was all staff. He expected and all delivered because he was right there beside them with his sleeves rolled up, working as hard or harder than anyone else. So as Dr. Poe retires at the end of this month, it's going to be one of those happy, sad times. Happy because I know he's well earned this respite from the long days and long nights, sleepless nights, the criticism that comes with leading a large district such as ours, as well as the accolades. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, you are my friend. You are someone who has enlightened me and mentored me as a board member in making sure that everything that we do, everything that I do as a board member is focused on what's best for the kids and what's best for the staff to make Boone County schools great so that we continue to achieve excellence together. So the legacy that you leave, Dr. Poe, will long be treasured, long be admired, and long be appreciated. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone here today and to all of those of you out there listening on. What I wanted to do was a message that was written by our awesome school principals throughout Boone County School District. But before I do so, Dr. Poe, I just wanted to let you know that this is a blessing and an honor to be here today on your behalf for this recognition. Some of you may not understand a little bit of this send-off for Randy, but he will totally know what the principals are talking about. Randy, when you became our superintendent 12 years ago, the principals were not aware that you would be traveling with you on 6 Secrets of Change. Nor did we know that leadership of the line and change leadership will become part of our education jargon, but it did. About that time, you took us on the road of discovery, our professional learning committee, at work. All the while, our iceberg was melting, even though we were sometimes living the reality of 5 dysfunctions of a team. You were somehow guided us to create some raving fans in our communities. Then you wanted us to master the art and science of teaching, so we could. Unlock the student talent, so we did. However, you and Dr. DeFore wanted to make sure we were on common ground as we learned about some pretty wildly important goals through the 4 disciplines of execution. You encouraged us to make sure that our friend Fred would give us the key to understand just what was the Fred factor. Your goal was definitely for us to learn to lead, so we did. Now it is time for you to head off to your new adventure and start a new focus. It is a good thing that our orange book showed up so we could understand that a little orange frog could teach all of us about helping ourselves and students with the happiness advantage. So as you and your buddy Spark ride off into the sunset, make sure your transformational leadership retirement is ready for new books, new golf courses, and new adventures. We have always appreciated your love of education, learning, and your desire to help us to develop the growth mindset. With love and appreciation, the Boone County principals. And these are their gifts right here, just so that you see it, the colorful gifts. You'll have this letter too, which I think illustrates really good of all those books that were described within the letter that the principals wrote. Thank you. Mr. Doozy, School Board Attorney.
Thank you, Troy. I'm Jerry Dusing. I've been outside counsel for the Boone County Board of Education since Larry Ryle was superintendent. And I want to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to say a few things to Randy. I've known Randy for probably 20 years when he's deputy superintendent, before he was superintendent, and had the opportunity to work with him all those years. And I've observed his management style, which I want to talk about for a minute because I think it reflects his character. Randy has relentlessly pushed people in this district to excellence, but he's done it with a velvet glove. And actually, he's pulled people more than pushed them. He's pulled them as a leader by leading by example. Randy has never asked anyone in this district to do anything that he hasn't already done himself or that he wasn't willing to do himself. He likes to tell on himself, of course, that he feels the best qualification he has as a superintendent is being a bus driver, which he was when he started out teaching. He knows what it's like to work in the trenches. Randy has the same expectations in leading Boone County schools as Winston Churchill did in leading a nation, who said, "My tastes are simple. I'm easily satisfied as long as it's excellence." And another quote I liked about Randy, I thought, this is by John Quincy Adams. He said, "If your actions inspire others to learn more, to dream more, to do more, and to become more, you're a leader." And I think that quote describes Randy exactly. And by the way, how many superintendents do you know who assign mandatory reading to their bosses? Not only assign it, but have a deadline, and you're going to report, and you're going to discuss it, and we're going to implement it as best practices in our district for the benefit of our staff and our schools. And I compliment the board on that as well as Randy. And you know, I have a unique perspective of Randy that most of you don't have, and that is I've seen him in confidential circumstances that are often delicate, not pleasant, controversial, and confrontational sometimes. And by that I mean employee discipline hearings, association grievance hearings, parent concern, parent complaints, and even parent threats. And I just want to say, no matter how emotionally charged or how difficult those circumstances were, or how difficult some of those people were sometimes, in every single instance, Randy was patient, he was open-minded, he was reflective, he was completely professional, and most of all, he was always sensitive to the other person's circumstances and their point of view. I've never seen Randy in any of those circumstances ever make a decision based on who it was, personalities, convenience, path of least resistance, or popularity. Randy always called balls and strikes as they came, keenly and fairly. And I guess the best compliment I can give to Randy is, you know, in the 45 years I've had the honor to represent lots of organizations in both the public sector and the private sector. And rarely do you see a CEO as universally respected by every constituency in the organization, all the way down the line. Parents, bus drivers, custodians, teachers, support people, operational and academic support, Board of Education members, State Board of Education members, the Kentucky Department of Education, and even governors. And I think that's a reflection not so much of Randy's accomplishments or his awards, of which there are many, but it's a reflection of his character. And I, for one, want to be counted in on that. Thank you very much, Randy.
Well, good morning. My name is Jim Claxton. I'm with the Boone County Education Foundation, and I'm very happy and honored to be here today on behalf of the association, or the foundation, on this wonderful day. Dr. Poe is really, to us, one of a kind. He's a very unique person. Despite all of his responsibilities that he has in his job, he always supported us in our mission. He accepted every phone call, returned every text, every email immediately. I don't know where he gets his energy, but it could be at 11 o'clock at night or 6 in the morning when you think you send an email and you're going to get it, later in the day. It was almost immediately. It was amazing. So through all this, he's displayed his passion, his dedication to our students, the educators, and the community at all times. And so in thinking about speaking today, how do you commemorate or congratulate a person really for their life's work? And frankly, until this morning, I really didn't know what I was going to say. And in watching the news, one word was spoken that I think really distills everything, and that is difference. All the games and practices that you coached, the bus routes that you drove, the classrooms that you taught, and the administration duties that you had all these years, they mattered. They really did matter. And as a father of two of students that came through the school system, from my family, I want to thank you, and from the families of our board members, we thank you. And you made a difference, not in just the lives of the children, the students, the people that you led all these years, but in our community. And so we thank you for that, and thank you for making a difference. Next is Mr. Eric McWhorter.
Well, good morning. My name is Eric McCarter. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Boone County Schools, and I'm very proud to say that. I want to congratulate Randy for 38 years of service in our county. That's unheard of in most jobs, and that's just a remarkable feat in itself. And then 12 years as superintendent, and that is another remarkable feat because many superintendents don't last maybe 4 years in their district. I want to thank you for all that you've done for our district, bringing all those different concepts into our district from around the country. You have all the contacts with different people, different vendors, and you've brought those concepts back to us and made us a better district. I personally want to thank you for allowing me to be the deputy superintendent and trusting me to run the district every day. and I really appreciate that on a personal level and a professional level. I want to congratulate you personally and your family for being here today. And I just want to remind you that when we deal with snow next year, I am going to call you at 4 in the morning, and I may even come to your house and knock on the door. So that's one of the things that I don't like doing, but we did it anyway, all those different mornings. I do really appreciate you as a person, and I just want to thank you very much. And I didn't also, before I step down, I wanted to show you the unique gift that the administrative team put together, or purchased and provided for you, and I think it's a pretty unique thing. I want you to see it. Troy, if you'll help me. And then has it's a blanket with all of the schools listed on it, and I think that's a really fitting way to enjoy yourself in retirement, and you'll be reminded of all the schools every time you're watching that game or a golf match or whatever you're doing. So, all right? All right. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. And then next up will be Dr. Maria Brown.
All right, so congratulations, Dr. Poe. I'll start. I get to carry the message from Mr. Matt Turner, but first I would like to tell you I still remember I had no idea what I was getting into when I applied to become appointed on the school board, and I remember the first meeting in your office, which is quite intimidating, I will say, with all of those awards lined up and books. There are lots of books. And you handed me a 75-inch binder and plunked it down on the desk and started talking. And for the next 4 hours, without preparation, without notes, the amount of information that just poured forth was overwhelming. And it was clear to me immediately 8 years ago, your heart is in this place. The students, the teachers, I have seen you fight on a state level, national level. You will do what it takes. And every day I know you ask yourself, what can I do for my students? So thank you. Sorry, I'm a crier. So, Mr. Matt Turner has also sent his congratulations to you. Dr. Poe, thank you for your years of service to the students, staff, and community of the Boone County Schools. Our schools and district have flourished and grown in a number and in quality during your tenure as a superintendent. We will also want to recognize your longevity and your commitment to the Boone County Schools by your service in our school system as a teacher, a coach, a school administrator, a district administrator, and a superintendent. We appreciate the time, energy, and hard work that you've given to our schools and our community in our quest to be the best school district in the country. Enjoy your retirement. I know words will never suffice. I know you probably know firsthand the number of nights of sleep you've missed, the decisions you've had to make, and I hope you know it's very much appreciated from the board, from our community. You will be greatly missed. Although you're not going anywhere, we will find you. So, and here's a little award of appreciation that we have for you.
All right, so Matt asked us to put together something, and so all four of us kind of talked it over, and it was a little hard at first because it's hard to put into words the impact that we have watched our dad over the course of his lifetime. Our dad did not care about his 4 children's education and did not just care about his 4 children's education and well-being, but it was his dream to provide that for as many children as possible, ultimately impacting thousands over the course of his career. All of that could not have been made possible without the matching passion and support of our mother. Our mom has helped give our dad the strength to tackle every obstacle he came across. She has supported him throughout every step of his career that he has taken to better himself or to help those around him. Our mom didn't blink an eye when he had to learn to drive a bus to make sure all of his soccer players could make it to a game, or when he had to give up so much of his nights and weekends to help others. So when it was time for him to take that next step in his career, she decided to move to nights to make sure that someone was home with the kids. When he decided to go back to school, it wasn't a matter of how they would make this work, but her taking it upon herself to take on the extra responsibilities at home so he could continue his education and advance his career at becoming superintendent and fulfilling their shared dream of helping as many students in the community as they could. We all have memories from a very young age of growing up with our dad in education. When I was just a baby, my mom used to bring me to watch my dad coach his soccer games. So often was I around his players, my mom and I, that they even gave me a t-shirt to wear that said, "My dad may be the coach, but I'm still the boss." As we continued to grow up, it seemed like we were constantly running into people that wanted to stop and talk to our dad. I can remember one time sitting in my college class. You would think that nobody would recognize me there, right? Finally out of high school. The teacher was taking roll and said my name, to which someone a few seats in front of me turned around and said, "Jessica Poe. You wouldn't by chance be the daughter of Randy and Melinda Poe, former Boone County teacher and soccer coach at Boone County High School, then principal and is now superintendent, and Melinda Poe that works at U.S. Bank. Would you?" To which in my mind I'm saying, this cannot be happening to me. Turns out he was a former soccer player of my dad, who also let the class know that I was just the cutest little baby to hold, just showing that even in the random college class, how far my dad's influence reached. As he became superintendent, more and more people began to recognize him as we were out. You would think when you were away at a different city, a different state, on a family vacation, at Disney World, or hiking in Gatlinburg, you would be safe from anyone spotting him. Well, let me tell you, that is not the case. No matter where we went, how crowded or secluded, we always ran into someone who knew our dad and always were so excited to see him. Seeing that excitement from others touched us, and seeing how much he inspired happiness in their education, that they wanted to run up to him and say hello and talk to him about where they were, what school they were in, and how they knew him. I'm not joking when I say any time we went out, an extra 30 minutes had to be added onto our trip because someone would recognize him. And that person always wanted to talk to him or ask him a question. I know every single person in this room knows what I'm talking about when I say that if you ask our dad a simple question, you will get an incredibly thoughtful and thorough answer, which also means your 2-second answer just turned into a 30-minute discussion. I truly cannot tell you the amount of times we just sat there staring at him in the grocery store, at the gas station, or even in our own kitchen, just listening to him talk. This is when you know someone is deeply passionate about what they do, and that passion was contagious, as you can imagine, helping to shape all of us in more ways than we can describe.
So it's so fitting that today we're celebrating this on a Friday because Fridays are, I'm sorry, I'm a crier too. Fridays are a really special day in the Poe household because this is where McFridays have started. So from a very young age, we all started, when we started going to school, we were told if we were good all week long, we would stop and get a treat before school on Fridays. So it started as Moo Moo Milks from the gas station across the street from school, then that evolved into City Minis from Burger King, and now today what we call McFriday. Looking back, we learned the special breakfast was a reward for having to be dropped off so early at school so our dad could make it to work on time. I can remember squeezing into the back of the truck and sitting on the half seat all the way to school, literally like this much room.
That much space.
Yeah. The day I got to move up to the front, 3 across, mind you, still Nick, my dad, was still the happiest day of my life. It was little memories like Make Friday, going to all the different high school sporting events, getting to stand on the sidelines, getting White Castles after every football game, or getting high school diplomas from our dad that we will all cherish forever. Because no matter how busy our dad was, he always made time for every single one of us. He never missed a soccer game, a basketball game, a cross-country meet, a track meet, school play, or dance competition. He always made sure that we knew that even though he served thousands of students and wanted the absolute best for each and every one of them, that we still came first, and that our dreams were also his dreams, and that he wanted to do anything to help us achieve those dreams. But it has also been hard to watch the stress that our parents have gone through our entire lives for our dad to become and carry out the job of superintendent. There is never a time that you will see our dad without his iPad, scrolling through emails, reading an educational book that we've all joked about, talking on the phone, or don't even get me started on his new love for Twitter.
Seriously, 5 posts an hour.
There wasn't a single winter morning this guy wasn't up at least at 4 a.m. downstairs just riding the bike, watching the Weather Channel to figure out for weather. Just the other day, I even had to get out of the car and order at a drive-through window just so he could eat lunch but continue on his conference call. I thought this guy was retiring, but I guess not. But truly, it has made us so incredibly proud to watch you as you work as hard as you do, to put so many people before yourself to build such an incredible school district. We wish that everyone could see just how hard you've worked through the years and all that you and our mom have sacrificed and given up in your personal lives to make Boone County what it is today. There is no way to ever count the amount of lives you've touched, and the ripple effect you've had on this community is unimaginable. It's not a coincidence that you have 2 teachers and a social worker for children. We have seen the importance of giving back to the community and the incredible impact that it can have. Both our parents have been such an inspiration to us, always teaching us a love for learning, to be a game changer for others, and that no matter what we are doing, to have passion for that. We have seen the passion firsthand every single day of our lives. We grew up with it, and it became a part of us. I want to leave you with one last memory that speaks volumes to the man who has built everything that is Boone County Schools today. I remember once sitting in my dad's office getting candy out of the super secret snack drawer, bottom left-hand corner, and listening to a conversation he was having with someone. When they were done, I remember asking him, "Why does everyone care so much about you and what you do?" And just saying to him, as any daughter would, "You can't be that special." His response was, "It's not me. No one cares about me as a person. They don't care that I'm Randy Poe. They don't know me, and they don't care about me. It's all the job title. I have nothing to do with it." That day has forever humbled me. I was too young then, but now being a teacher, we have seen and felt your constant impact as a superintendent. We're here to tell you how incredibly wrong you were, that they do care about you as Randy Poe and the person you are, because you've cared so much about every single student, teacher, certified staff, bus driver, and every single worker in Boone County. Our hearts break a little today for Boone County, and we may be biased, but we know there will never be.
Our hearts break a little today for Boone County. We may be a little biased, but we know there will never be another superintendent who pours their life and their soul into their job as you have. You've made the difficult decision not ever to be liked because that was what was right for the kids. You have such a love for learning, and your passion in education comes across in everything you do. You will never know or fully realize the butterfly effect that you have created. But believe me, it is incredible and beautiful and will continue to have ripple effects for generations to come. We know that it is not the end of you and for you, and cannot wait to continue to see how you change the world. We love you, both of you.
Thank you, Jessica and Catherine. Those were great words. We appreciate you spending time with us this morning. So as we just heard, being superintendent of a large district like Boone County is certainly a family commitment. It's been a family commitment for not just the last 12 years, but we heard stories about how the kids were kind of drug along on many excursions, whether that was weeknight games or weekend events. Your career, Randy, started 37 years ago here in Boone County as a teacher and as a coach, as we've heard, rising up through school level administration and then district administration in the last 12 years as superintendent. So as the board discussed, how we wanted to recognize you here at the end of your superintendentship, it was clear to us that we didn't just want to acknowledge you and honor you, we wanted to honor your entire family, and specifically you and your wife, Melinda. So today, we are dedicating the area behind us, affectionately known as the box currently. We are going to dedicate it and rename it the Dr. Randolph J. Poe and Melinda Poe Ignitorium. And so with that, we have a plaque that will commemorate the dedication and the renaming, and that will be moved from this location over to the Ignitorium area. We'll put a new sign there replacing the box name, and then on the other side of the entrance will be this plaque commemorating the dedication today as well as the renaming.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. I'm very humbled. And just like the seniors that started with me as Kay, it's a different day that we're dealing with here, just like graduations and doing things virtually. So the individuals out there, I just want to thank, over my 37-year career in Boone County, I met a lot of great people who made me who I was, in addition to my family and my lovely wife who molded me along the way and kept chipping away. Just as those teachers out there and bus drivers, custodians, cafeterians, school psychologists, and the list goes on, counselors, paraeducators, and our maintenance group, our bus mechanics, all those. Thank you. It is different. I had planned to come around and see all of you in person, these last few months, which is not there. So I will be around. I have learned a long time ago, the best thing is as a superintendent, as a stream is rolling in, you have your hand in the water and you help guide that. And when your time's over, you pull your hand out and it's time for someone else to take over. And to the board, great job in selecting Mr. Turner to take and steer that ship. So I will be around, but I will be around and will be different after today. I realize that. And but I will be always advocating for Boone County schools, and I will always be advocating for the children, and always advocating for each of you because of the hard work and the effort and the job you do daily. We do achieve excellence together in Boone County schools. There's 3,600 employees that come to work every day that's working on behalf of the children, making it a better place. And I had always talked about, and I'll end with that, is that every day, a few years ago at our leadership conference, we had talked about every day in a classroom is the Super Bowl. So if you think of the Super Bowl when, if you were running out of that particular tunnel and the jets are flying over and the fireworks are coming, and it's a great day, that jubilation and that feeling. And as I always told every employee, when you get out of your car in the morning, or if you walk to work, or you rode a bike, or however you got to work, that when you get in that parking lot, you walk across that parking lot, and you go into the building, and the students start arriving on that bus, and they start pulling in. And you don't know what's occurred in their particular life that particular day. There's lots of things. There's enjoyment, but there's also sadness or whatever it is. But when you go into that classroom and you close the door, you realize it's the Super Bowl. They're counting on you. They're counting on you every day to give them the best and game changer and a life changer. So I've dedicated my life working around that. So I thank my children, my wife, for they're very honored with my children, as two of them said that they went directly into education. The other one's a social worker, changing lives daily. And the other one, who's a son, who reminded me, Dad, I'm not going to be a teacher so I can take care of you in your retirement. So we don't want to forget about him. He's a computer engineer and he just graduated, and I'm very proud of him too and the work he's doing and so forth. So just thank Boone County Schools. You made me who I am. It's been a great ride, a great privilege, a great honor, and I really thank everybody for making me the success that you heard about, because as I said, it's not about me, it's about the school district, so thank you all.